defendants-in-chief that and you said Advocate Horace, after discussions with Mr. Makashula, said she would return of her own accord in reference to Ms. Chiloto, referring to a pre-trial that you hadn't dated at that time. Do you remember?
Yes.
So firstly, I want to correct you and say that I did make that, or give that undertaking to the court, but it was in instructions of my attorney, Mr. Victor Kwashu. Do you have any comment?
I agree with you there.
Now, if you'll turn, and it's the documents that the state put here but haven't been dealt with as yet, to tab F, and it's difficult to follow, and I'm going to ask you because I personally cannot work it out fully. It works in a reverse order, but there seems to be a cut, and you'll possibly be able to explain because it's involved. If you'll turn to tab F, page 7. Does your lordship have it?
Yes. Yes, I do.
You'll see, and I'm trying to build up in time, so you'll see here that it's an email from Advocate the Nation to Mr. Nkwashu, or in which you and other parties were copied on the Monday, the 23rd of January. And it says, "Good afternoon, Victor," meaning Mr. Nkwashu. "I refer herein to the undertaking of past Friday. Please indicate when you're available for the appearance of your client. I am available from 13 February until the end of March. I would, however, want this matter to be finalized before the middle of March. Because of the cooperation of your client, the state does not intend opposing bail, except if there are drastic changes in the circumstances. The bail application can therefore be finalized by way of affidavit. To save time, you can send me such affidavit before the application. If it suits you, kind regards, your under nation." Now, what I want to put to you, Captain, and you cannot challenge this with respect, is this was an email on a Monday, just after midday, that referred to a pre-trial that had taken place in this Honourable Court before the Judge President Musi on Friday, the 20th of January 2023, at which you were present. Do you agree with me?
I agree.
Right. And that's where that undertaking that you had referred to was given.
Yes.
You agree? Right. Now you have to turn backwards, and I'll say it works in time. So if you'll page back, Captain, to page 6. This is Mr. Nkwashu's response. It's about 2 weeks later, as I understand it.
Yes.
And it says there, Monday, February the 6th, 2023, from Mr. Nkwashu to inter alia yourself. You'll see your email there. And it's addressed to Advocate the Nation. And he says, "Dear Johan, reference is made to the email under reply as well as our telephone conversation of 28 January 2023. So it would appear, as from the emails, that they were in communication, not only as per the email of 23 January, but also telephonically on 28 January 2023. And Mr. Nkwashu says, "We would appreciate if we could get information about the purpose of Ms. Chilota's arrest shortly after the undertaking of a voluntary surrender, which was broadcasted live by different media houses in an open court on 20 January 2023 before Musi JP." So you see the confirmation of the date and the pre-trial and the presiding officer there.
Yes.
And that there was this undertaking that was given, but that she was subsequently arrested, as you can see there.
I see that, yes.
And then he says there, "The fact that the state and ourselves were in the middle of synchronizing our diaries, and Ms. Chilota coincidentally gets arrested and detained ostensibly on an Interpol red notice, is making it difficult even for us to give answers to her and her frustrated family. Kindly confirm whether the arrest of Ms. Chilota had anything to do with the extradition process which the state initiated and the charges associated therewith." I carry on, and I don't know if it's correct, you can guide me. It says that we're looking forward to hearing from you about what are the charges that she's currently facing, what the process that is possibly being followed by your counterparts in the USA courts, yours faithfully. So this court doesn't know. Between the time, and it doesn't appear from your affidavits as I've shown you, between the time that The undertaking was given in the pre-trial
Yes.
by myself on the instructions of Mr. Nkwashu, and the time that the arrangements were made for her to return to South Africa, she was arrested in America. You agree?
I agree.
At that stage, we've established you were in communication with the FBI. Do you agree?
I agree.
We'll turn then to, returning backwards through this process, page 5. Sorry, I've skipped one. On the top of that page, I beg your pardon. You'll see at the top of page 6, Advocate the Nation responds to Nkwashu copying into Radio UN on the following day, being Tuesday, February the 7th, 2023 at 9:07 a.m. And he says, Miss M. Charlotta, recent arrest by the US authorities. Victor, I unfortunately did not address the charges in my previous mail. I wish to confirm that your client will face the charges as it is outlined in the indictment of which you have a copy. Agreed?
I see. Yes.
Then turn to page 5. And Mr. Nkwashu says, dear, this is now later that day at 2:12 p.m. You were copied in as well. He said, dear Johan, thanks for your emails. However, I inquired about the charges only referred to what Mr. Charlotta is possibly facing in the United States. We thought you might have information pertaining those. You see that?
I see.
Now we go further up that page, and you'll see it's another email that you were copied in, still on page 5. On the 8th of February, it's now the following day, Wednesday at 7:33 a.m., Advocate the Nation sends an email to Mr. Nkwashu, copying into radio yourself, and he says, good morning, Victor. We requested extradition on the charges as per the indictment. As to the charges he's currently facing in the US after arrest, I have no idea.
That is.
So he's saying, I've got no idea why she was arrested. We've only requested an extradition. You agree with that?
I agree with that.
So it appeared to be something unrelated to the extradition for which she was arrested by the American authorities. You agree?
It seems so, yes.
Return to page 4. You'll see now at the bottom of the page, Mr. Nkwashu responds to Advocate the Nation, copying you on the 8th of February at 12:47 p.m. He says, thank you, Johan. And then you turn to the top of the next page. I appreciate your prompt responses. Regards. So it was accepted at that stage that the arrest was for something else.
Yes.
Then you'll see there's a gap. I'm still on page 4. In the middle, Advocate the Nation on the 16th of February 2023 at 11:17 sends an email to Mr. Nkwashu copying it into radio yourself, and he says, morning, Victor. Our telephonic conversation yesterday refers, so they're in telephonic communication as well. Do you agree?
I agree.
I've requested a report from the US outlining all that occurred regarding your client as you're in the dock, what precisely is going on. Is your client still prepared to come to SA on her own? If so, when? Thank you, Johan. So he's saying, we don't know why she was arrested. I'm going to get a report from the American authorities. But in the meantime, is she still coming back? Do you agree with
I agree with you.
Now, in response to that, you'll see an email on page 3, 16th of February at 3:44 p.m., in which you also interact a copy. At the bottom of the page, good afternoon, Johan. We acknowledge receipt of your email as discussed telephonically. The writer is currently having a family bereavement and will endeavour to contact the family of Mr. Charlotte and obtain instructions and revert to you next week starting on 20 February 2023. Thank you for your email under reply. It's just explaining, and then you see Mr. Donation says thank you on the 17th. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Right. Now, you'll see there, if you at the bottom of page 2, 23rd of February to Thursday at 4 p.m. from Mr. Nkwashu to Advocate the Nation. At the bottom of page 2, it says, good afternoon, Johan. This is a follow-up to our communication herein below. We have been instructed that Mr. Lotte has been released from custody following arrest and detention in January 2023. However, she has been ordered to appear before a court in Baltimore Court following the transfer of the matter by court from a detention facility in Atlanta in that country. We are further instructed that Mr. Lotto is scheduled to appear before a court in Baltimore on 17 February 2023 and is currently awaiting further communication from the authorities in that country in this regard. Accordingly, we are of the view that your approach to the American authorities would shed better light for all parties involved. Even Mr. Lotto would be in a much better position to make an informed decision regarding the questions in your email under reply. We await to hear from you, yours faithfully. So what Mr. Nkosi is saying is, I can't get into, this is what I found out, she's been released, the matter's been transferred, but I don't know why she was arrested. You can find out. Do you agree with me?
I agree with you.
Then, on the 27th of February 2023 at 2:56 a.m., Mr. Donation sends an email where we see Maria Lerner from the U.S. Department of Justice, and it says as follows. Good morning, Maria. Please see the trailing emails. According to the last email from Mr. Nkwashu, the attorney of Mr. Lotto in SA, she had to appear in a court in Baltimore on 17 February. Can you please inform us what occurred during the appearance and importantly what the current position is? As previously indicated, we will have no problem if Mr. Lotto comes to SA on her own. The question is, would she be able to do so if she has to appear in court in the US? That's Mr. Donation's request to this lady, Maria Lerner, and he asks for a speedy response and he signs off. Do you agree with me?
I agree with you.
In response to that, you'll see, reading the bottom of page 1 into page 2, it says as follows. From this Maria Lerner on the 27th of February at 3:45 p.m. To Mr. Donation, in which you were also copied. And the subject is Remus M. Cholotto, recent arrest by the U.S. authorities. And at the top of page 2, we have the following. Good afternoon, Johannes. I just checked with my contact. Was informed that all hearings for Ms. Cholotto were cancelled when she was released, and she should have been apprised of that. I have no indication that the hearing in fact occurred. At this point, us will not intervene again unless they learn that she is no longer enrolled in school. Have been able to make any progress on the request for information we sent last month. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks very much and best regards, Maria. You see that?
I see that.
You see there just how significant her enrollment at school is. Do you agree with me?
I agree, yes.
In other words, and it's now apparent from the American authorities, that if you cancel her bursary, she has no right to remain in America, and she is compelled to return to South Africa. You agree?
No, not totally.
Well, please
If I may explain. If I understand it, and as it happened, if I may say,
Yes.
The bursary was cancelled, but the means of how she continued to pay her studies, that I do not know, but she kept on at the university. That was my understanding. So the mere fact of cancelling the bursary could have been a part, but it seems it wasn't a part for her not studying further at the BAU. That is my understanding.
So you're fully aware of all of this? We've established now.
All of the...
You've just told the court what you understood had happened, so you were aware of all of these developments.
Well, if we talk about the arrest of ICE, that I do not know. We speculated, but it wasn't on instruction of us. We were in the dark about that, and believe me, if I say till today, I'm still till today not sure. I can only speculate what happened there.
My point is, speculation, no speculation, we're fully aware of her status in America and how important her study visa was to you.
Sorry, that last part was very...
And how important her study visa was. Do you agree with me?
My Lord, we're making quite a jump from the bursary to the study visa. Perhaps if we could just suppose that...
I'll rephrase. Her bursary to study there was.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Excuse me. The study visa expired. That I know. But it seems as if the fact that it expired didn't have an influence with the Americans for her to continue studying. That is what I understand.
But my point, Captain, is you were kept abreast of all those developments through these emails and other inquiries that you made with the American authorities. Do you agree?
No, I'm aware of this, yes.
And we have an email from Advocate the Nation in the middle of page 1 on the 28th of February 2023. To Mr. Nkwasha, which you were copied. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
And it reads as follows. Good morning, Victor. Please see the email from the US. It appears that Mr. Lotter can stay in the US for the time being, although it is never certain what the authorities in the US might decide to do next, as the past few weeks have shown. In any event, the extradition process is still ongoing, and she should be brought before a court in the US as soon as we have clarified certain aspects. The question now is, does she want to go through another arrest and incarceration, or rather come back to SA as per the undertaking court? I suggest that the latter option would be best for all involved, especially your client. Please advise as soon as possible. Thank you, your Nation.
I see.
You don't see that as a threat. It's advice.
It's an option.
That's advice as you as
Okay, advice option, yes.
I'll put you, most people see that as a threat. Do you have any comment?
Some people might, some not.
And what's noticeable from this exchange of emails and consistent throughout this trial is when it suits the state for Mr. Nkwasha to represent Mr. Lotter, there's no conflict, there's no issue. Do you agree with me? The other busy negotiating a return, it's no problem. There's no conflict of interest referred to. Do you agree with me?
Well, yes.
The last aspect that I want to touch on is a legal aspect, but the dates are important. I'm not going to question you on the legal issues, that I'll leave for argument. I'm just going to get some dates that are extremely important as to the jurisdiction of this honourable court. And I'll make the point very, very clearly. So let me explain it, my lord, so that they can be, and I'm very, very brief on this. There's a decision of the Supreme Court of Appeal, very recent, that deals with extradition that's directly relevant to this matter, and I'd be remiss if I didn't refer to it. It's a decision, my lord, of Jonathan Richard Schultz versus the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services and others. It's marked reportable. I don't know whether it has been reported. I believe it has, my lord. It's referred to as the neutral citation of Schultz versus Minister of Justice and Correctional Services and others. It was case 76/2023. Then in square brackets 2024, ZASCA 77, and in brackets 23 May 2024. And in essence, and the Captain, I'll explain the relevance. On the 23rd of May 2024, the Supreme Court of Appeal, the full bench of the Supreme Court of Appeal, handed down a very significant judgment in relation to extradition, saying, or dealing with who ought to apply for the extradition of accused persons to make it lawful. And it says, and my lord, let me give your lordship and my learned friends the reference, at paragraph 16, it says that this would raise important legal issues and which will affect extradition requests in the future. So future from 23 May 2024. So firstly, Captain, what I want to put you is, and we can go through it in great detail, the request for Mr. Lotter's extradition was done by the NPA. Do you agree with me? I can show you Ms. Advocate Somaru's affidavit. Tab C is Advocate the Nation's affidavit. They brought the application. Do you agree with me?
I agree with you.
In particular, and you can look with pleasure, is tab C in that file, where Advocate the Nation explains the role that he plays in relation to the prosecution and where he seeks her extradition and clarifies probable cause. And I'm not going to repeat the legal issues, but it's there. You agree with me that this is his affidavit that was used to secure the extradition? Do you agree with me?
Yes, I would say this affidavit is for clarify certain aspects that was raised by the
And it
US.
says so. Yes, you're
Yes.
accurate.
Yes.
There were queries asked. We can summarize it, and thank you, Captain. And on 13 June 2022, it says in paragraph 2 on page 1 of 32, queries were raised. I'm now going to deal with them, and explains the role that he plays. And then, for completion's sake, Captain, you'll see at the end, he gives a summary of the case against Mr. Lotto. Do you agree with me?
I see that, yes, and I agree.
I don't want to be accused of repeating things, but it's there. Now, if we look at this file that was given to us, Exhibit 9, these are the important dates. If you would bear with me, please, Captain.
Sure.
Immediately after that, in the file we have tab D. And you are aware of these proceedings. I just want to record the dates. The first document in tab D is a 5-page document that refers to motion to proceed with extradition hearing. And you'll remember now, I just want to refresh your memory, there was an application by Mr. Lott in America to postpone the proceedings because of envisaged litigation in South Africa. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember
And
that.
then the judge said, or the magistrate in the District of Maryland said, this must proceed on the next time, and that's an order that's given on the 21st of May 2024. You'll see the top of the page.
Yes.
The dates are given in American format.
I see that, yes.
And if you turn to page 5, you'll see the order there. It's based on the foregoing, the government respectfully requests that the court dissolve its stay and calendar the parties for the extradition hearing at the court's next opportunity. So they're saying this matter must proceed on the next occasion, and this just happens to be the 21st of May 2024. You agree with that?
I agree with that.
If you'll turn then, please, Captain, to tab E. Here is the order of extradition signed by they call it the United States Magistrate Judge Aaron Aslan. And you'll see from the top of the pages, but there can be no doubt about it if you go to page 9, that this was an order that's dated the 7th of June 2024. Do you confirm that?
I can confirm, yes.
So that was after the Short's decision of May 2024 by process of logic.
That's
But if
correct.
you would turn the page, Captain, you'll see there a document entitled Department of State, and that's where the final decision is made to extradite and signed off by the Deputy Secretary of State. Do you see that?
I see that, yes.
And that occurred on the 31st of July 2024. You'll see that date written out on the second page. Do you agree with me?
I confirm, yes.
Thank you, Captain. I have no further questions. My Lord, I have, just for convenience, unmarked copies of the Short's judgment that I can hand to your Lordship and to my learned friends.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, my lord. Thank you, Captain.
Thank you, Mr. Otis.
Yes, Mr. McPherson, I think this decision of the Supreme Court of Appeal that's been handed up by Mr. Hodes, I prefer to mark it as an exhibit. Otherwise, these things are going to get lost and they're going to disappear in the days and the weeks to come.
Well, you were at 13.8. I'm not sure if it's